Good morning. My name is Brent, and I work for a faith-based nonprofit here in Omaha, and I'm here to talk about mentoring. And my peers and I entered into a leadership development program earlier this year through UNO, and part of the process involved selecting a mentor and working through that process over the course of 2 years. When we first started off, I was like, who am I going to choose? Where do I search for this person? Do I look at someone that I know pretty well, someone who knows me? And just by happenstance, I was at a dinner and I met a gentleman who was sitting next to me who also worked for a faith-based nonprofit and kind of had the same leadership role as I did. And so we struck up a conversation. I really liked the guy, and so the next day I called him and said, hey, I'm looking for a mentor. Would you be interested? And he was on board, and so we set up our first meeting, and it was kind of nice having a mentor that I didn't know, because we spent some engaging times in the beginning just getting to know each other and each other's families, our backgrounds, what kind of work we do, our style of management. And then we set up weekly meetings, or monthly meetings, I'm sorry. And I usually throw out a topic. It might be a topic that I'm struggling with at the time, or that I think that I may need some improvement on. For example, one of the first times we met, we talked about having difficult conversations, because I think that's hard for all of us. And it was really nice to get a perspective from someone that you don't work with and who doesn't know the work structure that you're in. And we've also talked about conflict management. We've talked about building a team and what is entailed in that. But a lot of times our conversations really go off track, and we talk about our faith and what that means to us being able to express our faith in our workplace, and how prayer and Bible study are part of our daily routine at work. You know, I think one of the things that's really been brought forward to me is that God is with you and walking by your side all the time, and sometimes we forget about that. And when you're in a room having a difficult conversation, for example, God's in that room with you, and He's helping you with that conversation. And I think that's one thing that Steve has really it's really taught me, is that to really walk with God and use Him as your mentor, actually, and He's the ultimate one. Well, I think, just being able to be a better leader and learning different strengths, or rather maybe strategies that people use to get points across. I think in the mentoring program, it's a really give-take type of relationship, and you really have to show a lot of respect, both by being the mentor and the mentee, and being confidential and being honest. And actually, if you have some successes because of the mentor, definitely share them. I think it's real important to have open communication, try to stay focused on the topic. And, I think one of the benefits that I always take away is that, I go back to the workplace and I immediately write in my journal our conversation of that day, and kind of what we learned and what I want to gain before I meet with him the next month. At this point, I think it's too early to tell if there's been any real major changes in my life in regard to a mentor. But I think long term, I think there are some definite benefits. First of all, it's building friendships with another Christian person. It's also establishing a go-to person when you need that person. And so far, I haven't needed that go-to yet, but I'm sure there's going to be a day when I will. Well, I think you kind of take some of the feelings away, and it's not about. And like I said with Steve, he doesn't really know my whole life, and so sometimes that can interrupt your conversations. People sometimes can know too much about you to really help you a lot. So. Even if I weren't part of a program that required having a mentor, I would certainly seek a mentor out and would suggest that to anyone who's looking to broaden their career, their relationship with their employees, and their relationship with God.